Hello and welcome to our second episode of STEM by Jim. I'm Jim Matheson. In today's episode we are going to cover the Arduino and what it is. Our previous show we did the Raspberry Pi, talked through how that works, all the parts of the Pi and some sample ideas you can do with it. And so we're going to go through some sample Arduinos here and do a couple of walkthroughs on how they can be used and other applications of the Arduino, as well as how you can integrate that into your Raspberry Pi projects, and outline a couple of ideas I have for other videos coming up and how we can put those together and start getting out to the shop and build a project. Start on our first project, whatever that may be. If you'd like to see something as my first project, leave a comment down below. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, give us a like, all that kind of stuff. So today's episode will do that. And I did cut the video short last time. I wanted to be able to show you the shop a little bit. Nice little thumbs up there. And walk you around the shop outside, the wood shop, and the office, and give you a little introduction to the space. Because in the makerspace, knowing where everything's at really helps to kind of creatively get those ideas going. So we're going to do all that today on your second episode of STEM by Jim. Okay, let's step into the parts of the Arduino. As you know, you can do a lot with the Raspberry Pi, as we mentioned in our previous video. So what is the Arduino? The Arduino is, in short, a microcontroller. So we have a couple of variations. I'll flip it over to see it this way. This is an Uno brand Arduino, an Elegoo brand, and they come in a box similar to this. You see for Elegoo, you see I have several. Well, I actually have 1, 2, 3. No, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. I've got a few more, but they're very cheap. Think of them as the 101 or 1001 kits we used to have from Radio Shack back in the day, compressed down to a board about the size of a credit card. So what is an Arduino? Well, again, it's a microcontroller-based electronic prototyping board, similar to what I just mentioned. We used to get from Radio Shack. And it's programmed with the easy-to-use Arduino IDE. I'll get into that later on, some other videos, not today. So I'll show you how to load programs onto your Arduino. I have a couple that I just put together, some simple ones that I can load up, and I'll demo here. So I'm going to talk about the parts of the Arduino. There's major parts that you'll see. There is the USB controller, or a USB connector rather. This is a printer USB port that you can load the program from the IDE. So when we get to that port, I'll show you how I load that application or that program onto the board itself from the IDE. We'll do that at some point. And it can also be powered through this port. But then you also have the power port, which is AC to DC adapter. And it does come with a connector, usually, that you can connect to. And it operates off of 5 volts, similar to the Raspberry Pi, but it can withstand a voltage of up to 20 volts, so wouldn't recommend that. However, keep it at 5 volts so you don't burn the board out. Then you have the microcontrollers, which are, here's the microcontroller. The microcontroller is pretty much you think that as the brains of your Arduino. The microcontroller used on this Uno board is a major chip, like right there, essentially. But this one is an actual microcontroller, and the following components in it are flash memory, the RAM, that is the runtime memory, and the CPU. And then you've got EEPROMs, which are read-only memory, and it's a type of non-volatile memory, and it keeps the data even after the device is turned off. So if you have like a timestamp or something like that, you want to save your timestamp and turn it back on, you can do that. I'll show that on one of these. I think it's this one, which I haven't completed yet, but it does have the time part of it. Then you have the analog pins. The analog pins are right here. These are the analog pins, as well as here on the Uno board. So the analog input pins are 6 input pins labeled 0 through 5 right there, and they can read the signal from an analog sensor like a temperature sensor, which I have. No, I took the temperature sensor off this one. That's the part I had got to. But they can read input. They're mostly for analog, but they can also be used for digital. And then on the other side, you do have the digital pins, and these are the digital pins. They're labeled 0 through 13. So 0 through 13 are the digital pins, 0 through 13. Same here, 0 through 13. And you see I have those digital pins hooked up to like this one's a clock. This is the digital display. It's fired up there. And this one's actually plugged in hardboard. So then the next part is a reset switch. So you can reset it. If you can see, that's the reset switch right there. And same on the logo. It's just a reset switch. Does exactly what you think it does. If your code you want to reset it to start it up again, it's just a reset pin. Then you got a crystal oscillator, or oscillator. I'm going to say that right. Crystal oscillator right there. And that thing actually fires a update 16 million times a second. So on each one of those ticks, it performs one operation. So you can either do an addition, subtraction, or any operation, simple operation on that tick. Again, 16 million times a second. Then you have the USB interface chip, which is that right there. And that's simply a signal translator that takes the USB level to a level that the Arduino can understand. So that's just calling that out there. See, that might be wrong there, but I think that's it there. Might be there. So anyway, and you got the TX RX LEDs. So there's a line of LEDs you see down the side here, right there. Those are TX is for transmit, RX is for receive, and they're just indicator LEDs and blink on when the Uno board is transmitting or receiving data. So that's a brief overview. And so you can see, I'm going to do a couple of examples here. Let me get my plug ready. Get a couple of examples going here. So take my plug, and this one right here I believe is just a screensaver. So I'll try to bring this up to a better view, but I don't even know if I need that in. I think those are jumpers. So I don't even know if I'm using the jumpers. Let's see. Oh, that's what I plug it in, right? Yeah, so using the Adafruit. Let me take this off here. So keep my cords in place. So you see it's just a screensaver, and I'm running a screensaver app kind of this way. There you go. And it's going to run through a couple of screen checks, and then it'll just supposed to say the word scroll at the end. I think is all I put on there. And it's just a scrolling screensaver wired up. Give it a second here and you'll see that. And that's the hello world, and there's the scroll. You'll see it just continue to scroll back and forth and then up and down. All right, so that's that one. And then the next one is just a simple display. The header test is upside down. I'm gonna get that cord in here. I'll have to work on the cord, but the header test. And then this one has simple inputs. So I could fire off any input, press key OK, left, up, down, right. I think that's that's just a reset I haven't done anything with. So yeah, that was a reset button. And so that's that one. And then the final one I have is this one, which I don't have a weather sensor on, so it's going to show not a number on it, which you're going to see because I've had it programmed and I have to replace one of the pins. We'll get into a situation or a video how to replace these wire pin connectors. But you'll see that, so not a number is showing up from a temperature, but you do see that it's running off the board here, and that does have a little watch battery, and it's showing my date, even though the date is actually wrong. I need to set that, but it is running timestamp. That's about 4 years and some ages ago. But anyway, that's a brief view of those. And again, you do have boards that usually come in with a packet, so I can show you the packet right quick. Let's put this back here so we don't have that fall off. 1 second. There you go. So we'll just go into a packet here and show you what it all comes with. Obviously it comes with a board. It comes with the data connector so that you can load the application and the board. And then this all this one has. So that's just, so it doesn't come, this one doesn't come with the power supply, but the power supply is just a simple power supply. And then you can, we'll go with this one in another video too, but you can also get these as kits. So like, you know, a super learning kit, very similar to what I mentioned, the 101. And open this up. There we go. Let's take that off. And you got a bunch of ideas you can do. This is the parts board. I'm trying to move the camera, but you got all your parts, and then you can build it. Like I use this to build Robbie. So these are the eyes, and that's what I use to build Robbie's eyes. And then you lift it up, and you got, let's take the tray out. Yeah, there you go. The rest of the parts, the Arduino is right there in the middle, and you got another TFT screen there to display. And that's a brief overview of the Arduino. All right, we're going to do a brief overview of the office here, where we do a lot of our, or I do a lot of my work, at least with the electronic side of things. So we'll do a brief run through of things. Of course, you see my OG arcade machines. These are not the new ones. These are originals that I restored from machines I've gotten that didn't work. This Pac-Man didn't work at the time. Got a new monitor, new headboard, and on the monitor, and got it working again. And the Gauntlet, originally got it, the cabinet, because it was an original Gauntlet cabinet, but it was a Tekka machine, and I took it back and restored it back to the original Gauntlet state. So it's all working. And then, of course, Donkey Kong. Sorry, it was Pac-Man, and then Donkey Kong worked fine, but I had to put it on a service switch so that I can get credits to it. The other two are on free play. And of course, you know me, I've got to automate everything. So I just have Alexa Arcade on. Yeah. So of course, we'll see with Gauntlet. I'm sorry, with this Pac-Man first. I have everything on free play, so fires up. I've got Gauntlet on free play. So it fires up. And like I said, Donkey Kong is on a service switch because it doesn't have free play. So I just have to go in here, use my credits, and you hear it, and it starts up. So anyway, that's the arcades. We'll get into some of that, and if you have interest in restoring some arcades, let me know. I can do some walkthroughs and some tutorials about how to restore vintage ones. I don't think I have more than a couple $100 invested in any of these. I just had to go back to the starting board and do it all by hand. So they're good. And growing up in a bowling alley, I had lots of practicing repairing arcade machines, especially as a bowling mechanic. I always got called to fix those. Alexa, arcade off. Beautiful. Anyway, so that's the arcade portion. Now we're to the other portion, which is my emulation station. And I was telling you about RetroPies. I've got this set up so that I can, load up any ROM from there, and I built that on another simple little Raspberry Pi using RetroPie on Raspbian. And then over here, I have a cabinet that I've built. I just need to finish up the wiring and get some graphics on it, and get the marquee going and some other stuff on that first. So I've got some wiring to do before I convert that to it. I also have an OG Game Boy that I might actually put a Pi in there and make a Game Boy emulator. We'll see how that goes. So anyway, that's the RetroPie station. We'll call it that. And this is the station where I do a lot of my board work, and you saw that in the video when I was showing you the Arduino. A lot of my stuff is under here, so all my parts and wiring parts are here. They're also down here underneath. So I keep all my parts for that and my arcades in here so that I can do work on them. And I have a lot of things I want to demo. As you see, a lot of projects I have queued up ready to go. And so that's the electronic station. This will be an intro primer to the wood shop we're going to go to next, but I also do a lot of woodworking. As you see, I have a lathe, and just in general, I like to DIY woodwork. So I make a lot of wine stoppers and bowls and pens and just general toys. And I'm trying to incorporate these into the electronics here. So I'm gonna try to keep some projects together so we can do that. But anyway, let's move to the shop. So here we are in my wood shop. My wood shop is out here, my dedicated garage space. And as you see, it's got a lot going on. I got my lathe, which is my big tool that I do a lot of work. So I keep my wood drying. I keep it curing up in the loft. I've got more just general tools all over here. Then I've got my blanks and my wood up here as well, so that I can build all my stuff. My tools are all situated out, but a lot of the work happens over here at Magic on the bench. So when we get out here to do woodworking, and I'll combine the two together, I'll take with what I've done in the electronics area and combine it with what I can do here, build some Arduino boxes, dream up whatever we want to dream up and make it. Anything from wood, we can do that as well. Just general stuff that, people everyday use. Anyway, this is the shop, and just a kind of a general overview of that. If you'd like to see anything in a video, please, again, leave a comment below, give me a like, give me a share, subscribe to the channel. I'll try to grow this organically, combine the woodworking with the electronics work, and we can do a lot of making. One day I'd like to get a 3D printer. Maybe we'll start doing something there, a CNC machine. We'll see where we go. But if you have ideas, you have thoughts that you want to see me do, I've pretty much built everything at some point in time, which is kind of why I started this channel. So let me know. And till next episode we'll probably get into a simple end-to-end on how to load an application onto the Arduino. So I'll take an application on screen, go through the IDE, which is independent or individual development environment, and load that application directly onto the board. And we'll show you how to do that end to end, so you know how to do that. And then if you have other ideas, we'll take it from there. But I've got a whole series of projects coming up. Stay tuned. So that's another episode of STEM by Jim. Next episode, we're going to jump into, like I mentioned, the Arduino going end to end, and how we take a program, we write a simple program, and we load it up and put it onto the Arduino and then display that out. I'll probably just start by doing a simple program that loads up the display onto an Arduino. We'll try to do that next. Any other ideas that come up, put them in the comments, let me know, and we'll go from there. Again, stay tuned. We've got a bunch of ideas coming up. We're going to start building like a deck shuffler. We'll work on Robbie, maybe work on the machines, get the RetroPie going, do other small STEM projects and some reviews. And there you have it. Thanks for joining.